Welcome to the Church of Thomas. Universal Morality, 3:19:10. Again, I read an article that I thought was fascinating. I'm always curious about how Jesus felt that the children were the key to everything and that they were special and closer to God. This article was very interesting because on the theological point of view, it probably bears this out. What they did was that they questioned children within an age groups and compared the age groups across the world in different cultures. And in all of the cultures, they had very similar ideas of right and wrong and how to discipline and what would be the most effective thing and what would be the worst possible way of teaching someone not to do something. They also had an overlay of cultural biases going on, but it didn't affect the universal morality that these small children, looking at 5 to 7-year-olds, were talking about. They were all shown scenes, and the scenes revolved around the idea of a kid with a ball playing and a second kid who has a mom with them going and tries to take away the ball from the kid who's already playing with the ball. Now we're assuming that the ball belonged to the kid who originally is playing with it. The mom is horrified and does a selection of disciplining techniques, and the child is asked to assess its usefulness, hurtfulness, what would be most effective. One of the things that they came up with was that withdrawing love, threatening to not love the child as much because of the behavior, was the worst possible thing. And this covered every child they talked to, thought that this was the worst possible thing. They were firm believers in autonomy, though. They thought, and this was across all cultures, that if the parent said, "How would you feel if that child did this to you? Wouldn't it hurt your feelings? Would you feel betrayed? Would you feel put upon, attacked?" And the children universally said that they would feel what the other child had felt when they had tried to take the ball, if it had been explained like that. So reasoning was at the very highest end of their abilities to understand right from wrong. It is necessary for parents to say, yes, this is wrong, and yes, this is right. But that always has a cultural overlay. If you understand that the children need to be treated as human beings, that they have feelings and motivations, and that they will listen to reason if you take the time. My parents were very strange, and they did explain everything to me ad nauseum. But I think in the long run, I felt better about myself because they never said that they loved me less. They never said that what I did would ruin them in their eyes. And they always explained why they wanted me to do something, unless it was an emergency situation and I'm getting ready to run after a ball into the street. Then, of course, that's an emergency situation. But it was very interesting because it was the withdrawal of love that hurt the worst. The little Chinese kid said that it would hurt for a long time and much crying in the corner would happen. I think that it's also important that when they did an analysis of slightly older children up to age 18, even in China, they were believers in personal autonomy. They were believers in democracy, the idea of sharing ideas, coming to a consensus, and respecting leaders that did the same thing. Now, obviously, in countries where this is not the political system, that can really run astray. And it's probably why, across the histories, it's been the young people who have made the most waves. But I challenge you with this. If Jesus is right, that children are closer to God, and if this article is representative, that human beings that are young have a closer understanding of morality, even if it is a bit black and white sometimes, their empathy, when it is emboldened and enlightened, comes to good decisions. And maybe we should start listening to them. The last part of the article I found touching. It also explained a lot. In a lot of cultures, women and underclass citizens and children feel threatened if they are asked to do something that is personally threatening to their safety, well-being, or their best interest. Universally, what happened was that these individuals lied. They passively resisted, and this was across the board as well, until every human being from birth to death, men, women, every ethnic group, is allowed a say, an autonomy, a consensus-building ability. We will not be closer to seeing God. So I encourage everybody to think about this. And if you have children, obviously try and use a few of these tips. Don't ever withdraw love, because what you do is you tell them that they cannot be loved, and it will trickle down through the ages with them. If you give them support and you build empathy in their basic moral character, they already have the foundation for it. All you're doing is fleshing it out and coating it with a painting of cultural norms. But you're not teaching them morality. God already did. God bless the whole world. No exceptions. Angel alive.